put away those flashlights because week 2 has shed more light on the situation. Let's get to it. That stuff. And honestly, some of the new designs. The black, the Saints.
So officially given up on Taysom Hill. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Chuck and Dave Pod. And I'm Dave.
Chuck.
Welcome to the pod. How's it going, Chuck?
Week 2.
Week 2?
It's good. Week 2 is out. We're getting rain.
Yeah.
Down here. Maybe we'll get some rainy games next week.
Yeah. You're getting rain right now?
Not right this moment, but it's rained today, yeah.
Oh, I kind of wish it would have rained today for us.
Looks like a pretty
one is dead.
Yes. Everything's dead, just like Nick Chubb's knee.
Oh, sorry, Dad.
Another week, another pretty massive injury there.
Yeah, just
from a fantasy perspective, that one's probably more upsetting than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to hurt because of that. No pun intended, because of that injury.
A lot of big names hurt right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Aaron Rodgers injury affected me in the fact that my first round pick was Garrett Wilson, and he's doing absolutely nothing because Zach Wilson can't throw the football.
Wilson to Wilson, it'll develop.
Yeah. Hey, we had
5 more years.
We had 4 viewers there for a second. I'm gonna type in chat.
4 viewers.
Feel free to chat. I think I got my dad on chat.
Nice.
So we'll see.
It's been great seeing him more active on the Discord. I gotta say, it's been a lot. The only person we're not hearing from, we never hear from Kara, and we rarely hear from Sam. But otherwise, people are popping in now.
Yeah, it's good.
It's been nice. Some people talk too much, and others the right amount.
Agreed. And you know who you are.
You know who you are.
All right, let's get into it. Week 1. Week 2. Sorry. My notes said
down. What do you want to start with?
Well, let's.
If we go by your agenda, we'd be with the Jackals, huh?
The Jackals. Yeah, we can start with the Jackals. That's fine. Narcissus
Jackals topple the Doge Destroyers 112 to 105. I will say, overall this week we did, the first week, I think all 4 games pretty much came down to Monday night.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hopeful this week having a week with 2 Monday night games, and only one was really in question at all when Monday night rolled around. So not quite as nail biting as week 1 was overall, but this one was a close one in general.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty close.
This is the one it came down to, right? Defense 112 to 105. You get the worst brought out when you play Josh.
It's true.
The worst comes out. He is.
I mean, 105 isn't necessarily like anything to sneeze at, but I mean, it's definitely not the 115 that he was expecting.
No, I think the first goal is you always want to top 100, and then if you can get above that, you're moving in the right direction. If you can get to 100, you probably can win at least a quarter to a third of the time.
Yeah.
Depending on your luck. But you've got a note there about Josh and how he's trending with the
lowest points for
track that we try to watch on him. And he is second place right now.
Yeah, so he's still continuing that continuous trend of the second lowest points against, which he has been holding for about 3 years now, where his teams do not show up when they play him. But also, he has the lowest points for of the top 6 teams. So if you look at the top 6 teams,
he really does not have an impressive total score right now.
201 points. I mean, he's averaging almost 100 points a game, and yet he's winning.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable. Sorry, Josh. If you're watching, You are the Minnesota Vikings of our fantasy football team.
He is,
and eventually it will catch up to you.
It's carried him through all last year, and it's starting this year. But I fully expect the Tharsis Jackals to collapse at some point and actually have to face some good offenses.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's got a good team. Don't get me wrong, Josh. You got a good team. But
I mean, it's a solid team. If not,
you got a decent team. But
honestly, once if we ever see Taylor and when Cup gets back, it could be quite a powerhouse. So if he can luck his way through the first handful of weeks,
I don't think either of those guys are going to come back.
You don't think Cup's coming back this whole year?
I mean, they're saying week 5 is their hope, but I mean,
the earliest he's eligible is week 5.
Hamstring injury. I mean, the Packers have been dealing with this for seasons now.
I mean, there's no need to
They're never the same.
Cup back right now with Nakua.
Yeah.
So they could take their time. And honestly, if they're, they're not going to be out of playoff contention at that point, but they could be looking at the writing on the wall and be like, let's save him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Here's some interesting things I wrote down.
Go ahead.
What did I say here? I think I'm looking at the wrong person. What am I looking at here? Oh, that's the benches. Yeah. Okay, so the Jackals scored 112 points, which is pretty respectable. And they still were able to put up 86 points in the bench.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They would have beat Sam with their bench. Which
Sam
might be more an indictment on the nincompoops, but
yeah.
It's interesting. There was 104 total points in the Jackals in just running backs, if you count active and bench. That's an average of 21 points each. That's insane, the running back power that he has right now.
Yeah.
And you can't start them all, but and you're not always going to do that, but you got Zach Moss with almost 20. Mostert, which candidate for worst benching there if he wouldn't have won, 30 points. And then you got Cook putting up 18, Walker with 17, 18, Robinson with 18. It's just like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to that. And I have a suggestion for him because the Destroyers may have a Barkley problem. Ooh. He's going to be out for probably at least a week. And they don't, I know you're always a big ETN fan. He seems a little inconsistent, though. And there's not really another big, what you got? Pacheco and Herbert for the other ones? Madison? Yeah. It's not like the Dodge Destroyers are sitting on a bunch of running backs, but they are pretty solid in wide receivers. I think a potential flip of a wide receiver for one of Josh's running backs could help both parties. And we always like a trade.
Yeah. You guys hearing that? Trade.
I think there's plenty of fuel there that each could come out with a pretty even issue there.
Yeah.
Start doing it. We'll let Alex start thinking about it now. So 5 or 6 weeks he can make a decision. And is there a trade deadline in the league?
I think so. I think it's like November. I think it's around the same time the NFL has their trade deadline. It's like a November trade deadline.
Otherwise, I think, the Destroyers have enough that they can pull off wins, but I think the quarterback position is hurting them. Fields and Watson are pretty boom or bust.
Fields hasn't been able to be boom at all.
But that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
Is you're hoping that he puts up some game where he runs for 3 touchdowns and 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Or you're going to get nothing. And Watson, I don't know if he's even able to play quarterback very well anymore. Everyone thought he'd come back from a full off season now and getting into it and it'd be totally different, but he really isn't.
Yeah, too many massages.
Too many. He's too loose.
He's too loose. He does not have Watson anymore. I remember he dropped him. That was one of his moves.
Oh, okay, that's right. But he didn't pick up a quarterback for it, did he? Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? Who did he pick up?
I will let you know. Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. He's going to ride the Kirk train.
See, Kirk, though, has been putting up decent stats, even though that his team isn't playing well. Like, he throws for 364 yards and 2+ touchdowns.
Kirk has been a pretty solid fantasy quarterback for his whole career.
Yeah.
He does, and honestly, he does big things. It just doesn't always portray to win.
Got Todd. That did hurt Josh quite a bit. No, this is Josh chiming in, but
no, on Discord, Todd joined in and just told us that Fields is indeed a bust.
Hey, Dad, if you are listening to the podcast, which I'm assuming you are, you can chat directly into into YouTube, and then we can see it right there. So just type in the live chat.
Looks like Josh wants to entertain some trades. Well,
yeah, November 18th.
I think that you and Alex could find some
trade deadline.
He says his bench is deep in wide receivers. I don't know. Cooper, Pittman. I don't know why you keep benching Pittman. Judy. I don't know about that one. Thomas, maybe. I think maybe he's hoping that Cooper and Pittman. But if he had that much trust in Cooper and Pittman, he would have started them. So,
well, let's move on.
Yeah,
we've got a lot to cover here. Let's do Appalachian White Lightning versus the Fighting Fergals. Kara has been struggling lately. I don't know if she's went over 100 points yet.
She has not yet. No, wait, she did on week 1. In week 1, she did top 100. I believe Sam is the only one left to top 100 points.
Yeah. She does have some bright spots. Her bench is doing well, so if she switch it, T. Higgins racked up a bunch of points. But then her other wide receivers didn't do anything. And the problem that is really her kind of what's kind of putting a kink in her tires right now is Patrick Mahomes, her keeper, who's been this all-star, has been severely underperforming.
He's been very pedestrian, but he could do very well this week against the Bears.
Yeah, I'd assume she's gonna.
Unless they put up big points early and then are just running the ball or pull him towards the end. But if he's getting a lot of touchdowns, hopefully to Kelsey, then all will be fine. Breece Hall really lacked the repeat performance for the Fergals. I don't know how much everybody on the Jets at this point is just going to kind of be demoralized. I don't know. Higgins and Koo did their best to really prop up the rest of the team, but she has a lot of lacking. Now, she does have points on her bench, but when you look at all the players on her bench and on her team, how do you know week by week which one's going to be a good one?
You're going to put Daniel Jones in over Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, who would have thought to put – I wrote that down. Who would have thought to put Danny Dimes in over Pat Mahomes? I wouldn't have risked it. And that's the problem is she's going to be 50-50 anytime she puts someone on the bench that they might be the ones to score 30. And that's a sucky situation to be in, where you're just kind of guessing.
Although Gus Edwards, I think she should consider throwing him in probably over Breece Hall, mainly because he's the number 1 running back right now. Because J.K. Dobbins is out forever, so Gus Edwards is going to get fed the ball.
He is. He's got a tough slate coming up against Indy and Cleveland, and then Tennessee 2 weeks after that, who are all pretty stout against the run right now. But we'll see. I know in general, the Ravens are probably trying to move away from Lamar running as much, I think, and maybe letting the runners do it. This is only the second time in our Yahoo career that Kara has started with 2 losses.
Wow.
And the previous time she had 5 in a row in 2020. So I'm sure she's trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side, the White Lightnings bounce back strong, and they now have 5 years in a row of starting 1-1, losing the first game, winning the second game. So that's just the way he likes to start. Whether he's going to be a champion or dead last, he likes to start the same. And that's some incredible consistency that needs a shout out, I think. I would like to point out that I did say last week that I wasn't sold on Tua.
Yeah.
And then he puts up an 11. So that's, we're going to pretend I don't make any mistakes. But the McCaffrey Debo worked out very well for him this week.
Yeah.
He got some. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen every week. Can they really share the ball between the fact that he's also carrying Kittle on the bench? That's a lot of 49ers that he's hoping all get the ball.
Well, and the thing is he just dropped Luke Musgraves, which is probably for the best, although he will, I think, get a little bit better. But George Kittle putting up only like 3 to 4 points every week is just brutal.
There's just no need to go to him, though, when you've got McCaffrey and Debo.
Yeah.
You don't – I mean, you've got – usually a tight end will thrive when you have him as like the safety valve guy.
Yeah.
And if you have a running back doing that, then the tight end's not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And Kittle used to be that guy, but now they don't need him.
Yeah.
In that role. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the White Lightning's teams. Had a pretty big win today.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good overall. Kara's underachieving quite a bit, and I think her team will get better. She moves around.
Let's hope so. I did see that she made a waiver move, a rare
she did.
Fergal's waiver.
Well, she dropped J.K. Dobbins. Basically, that was.
She didn't want to try to do the make him a keeper thing.
Dude, I don't even know if he'd be worth a keeper. Like, do you think he's going to play ever again in his life? Oh no, I'm thinking of what's his face, Chubbs.
Chubb.
I don't think Chubbs is playing again, unfortunately.
If you end up towards the end of the year with a team that just sucks, is it worth picking up Dobbins to try to make him someone as a 14th round pick next year? It's good value. What else you got to lose?
If you don't have anybody else.
Give yourself those options. All right, who's next?
Let's do you guys, you and Sam. So
First of all, it's very nice to be once again getting a Biggest Blowout award. I was a little nervous after week 1, but it feels good to getting that again. It feels good to get back to 1-1. You don't feel quite as bad here. The Polecats, I think there was a real strong showing by Hurts finally again this week. Not finally, it was only the second week, but Hurts really showed up. Kelsey basically was back. Keenan Allen, and honestly Derrick Henry too, did pretty solid. I got to say, there was a few things here just going from my inside since it's my team. I made some changes last week. I decided to drop Brian Robinson and drop Rashad White, and I picked up Algier because I thought it looked like it was going to be kind of a committee with on the Falcons and against the Packers. Probably great. He did not do well. Mm-hmm. And I picked up Josh Kelly because I thought with Eckler out, well, this guy's going to shine, and he did not. And you can ask my wife, I was determined to put in the Buccaneers defense instead of the Ravens. And then noon rolled around on Sunday, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot to switch. And the Ravens gave me 3 points?
Yeah.
And the Bucs 18.
I mean, you didn't need the help. I mean, if it was a closer game.
But dang, that would have been nice to put up 140.
It would have been nice. I mean, yeah.
So that was very frustrating.
If you would have trusted, if you would have.
And Nakua too. I decided to leave him on the bench because I was like, one game he's going against, but now I'm thinking, okay, if he can do that against the four, and he didn't even get a touchdown. He got 23 points.
15 receptions.
That's all receptions and yardage. So I'm like, he's gonna get fed, and hopefully Cup stays on the shelf for a very long time, so I can actually roll him out there. The Bucs are a free agent right now, but they were playing the Bears, and that's why I wanted them last week.
Yeah, Josh, I don't know if the Bucs are going to be your consistent, always getting you like.
I thought that I was gonna, I thought that the Ravens were going to be a really solid defense. That's why I drafted them, and they have been pretty poop so far this year. So I dumped them. I picked up Jacksonville for this week.
Yeah, it's been tough. San Fran had a pretty weak showing against the Rams compared to the first week they played. So
yeah, I mean, defenses are pretty hard. You kind of end up got to stream them for the most part. But Sam gets the worst bench award this week with Swift and Evans. And
why is he not putting Swift in? Like, this is the second week in a row where like Swift is basically his best player on his team, and he's just sitting on his bench.
It's a bold strategy.
Like,
Sam's bench outscored his active team by 10 points.
Sam Swift, you rode him all year last year.
He was so stubborn, never benching Swift, even when he had Swift's counterpart.
Now you won't put him in.
Maybe he had hard feelings last year after having Swift, and so he wants to start him and just keep him on that bench, teach him a lesson.
Trade him. I'll take him. Yeah.
He should trade him if he's not going to use him. I mean, he's got Montgomery there, too. He's got a pretty solid bench. Maybe if he started using some of them, it would help a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the first time in the Yahoo era that Sam has started with 2 losses.
Ooh.
Now and it's unusual for those who are not longtime followers. Sam was for many, many years the undisputed powerhouse of the league, auto drafting to victory over and over again with unreal results. And then last year, accidentally got Todd's team, and it seems this year
they swapped again.
Maybe they swapped again, or maybe he's just bad at managing it this year. I don't know. But
the Bulldogs, I remember during the draft stream that we had, that post-draft stream, you and I basically being like, I don't really know what the computer was really thinking with the New London Bulldogs. And but then when the draft grades came out, they said he was going 13-1. And right now, it looks like that's probably going to happen.
Yeah. It shocks me that he was able to get so many points on a team carrying 2 kickers and 2 defenses.
Yeah, 2 defenses on the same.
Like, he got all his guys and then was like, I got a few dollars left. Let's grab an extra kicker. But, yeah, Sam was off to a rough start, and I sure would like to not see him be a bottom guy 2 years in a row. But if anybody can wear that with pride, it's him.
It is.
But come on, Sam. Put a little bit of thought into
we got 3 people watching, guys. Josh doesn't have to be the only one chatting. Where's Jordan here? Come on, Jordan.
Oh, he's playing. All right, so the last game then, we had the Bulldogs against the McRibbed, or I should say my fantasy team.
The My Fantasy team.
They dominated. This one came close. They dominated. The Bulldogs, very consistent so far. I think week 1 they were 132. Week 1 they're 130. Very, very even.
I mean, there were things that I wish I would have done different. Having Tyler Lockett I think I got to start playing Tyler Lockett. I
got to tell you what, I've had Lockett in the past, and he's inconsistent.
I know.
It's tough.
And week one he had 2 points. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is he going to be consistent? But I think I'm taking Damian Pierce out of the equation right now. And I know he's my keeper, but they don't have an offensive line. Their quarterback is a running quarterback. He pretty much is going to be basically 50 yards 50 yards and a few receptions. I mean, he's going to be getting me 7 points every game, and so I gotta yank him.
It's always an interesting thing when you get a new quarterback, especially a really young one. They tend to kind of have a favorite, even if there was someone on the team doing really, really well last year. And in this case, it seems to be Nico Collins for the Texans over Pierce. Pierce kind of was the team last year, and the fact that the use isn't there is weird.
Yeah, Josh, I know he was my keeper. Josh says he
maybe it's the year,
and I know he was my keeper, but when I picked him as my keeper, I thought he would continue the momentum that he had last year, and it was he has been a dead nothing. I mean, he's had.
In fact, I see him on a lot of sit-ems.
Yeah, 5 to 6 points right now, and legitimately, you read the advice, and it's basically he's outpacing he's outpacing his other backs, but he's not been given any both games. The Texans have fallen behind so quickly that the run game basically becomes obsolete. So he's basically a blocker.
And you've also got those question marks with, is Eckler going to be back this week or not? He'll be a stud when you get him, but I don't know how many weeks he'll be out with things. So the Bulldogs put up the highest score for the second week in a row. I mean, the Dallas defense, Hawkinson, Pollard, Gabe Davis, who I think is lightning in a bottle. I had him last year. You cannot count on him getting over 10 any week. Yeah. It's just a smothering the amount of points that he's getting put up by these guys. I wrote Dave's team was solid, but no match for the Bulldogs on this one.
Todd says the computer knows best.
How much will the Chubb injury affect him? He was able to pick up the Kyron Williams, who everybody's darling right now, so maybe he'll just be fine.
Yeah.
I will say I am going to be a proponent next year for the waivers being every week whoever's last in the league is number one.
Yeah.
The worst team is number one, rather than just like, well, you claimed someone last week, so now you have to go last.
Well, but that's I know you like that rule, but like it makes sense because then if you could be peeling through, like just scraping everybody from everybody. Like,
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like if I'm the worst team in the league, I could hate pick people from because I could go
and then just. So you're saying that you're worried that the worst team is just going to grab the best players and stash them on their bench so they can keep being the worst.
Yes, I do believe that because that is something.
I mean, maybe you would do that, but I don't think. I mean, honestly, by the time a team is established as like the worst team, there's not that much to do.
How the waiver situation in the NFL.
In the NFL, after the first 3 weeks are set by the previous year's standings, and on week 4 on, it's the current draft order.
So you have the lowest teams have priority.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever team.
If that's how the NFL works, I'm okay with that.
It is how the NFL works. I looked it up because I was like,
and we tend to go with NFL, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
I mean, I'm okay with it for this year. That's fine. I'm not going to like get pouty because I didn't get Kyron Williams or whatever. But I just think that it makes sense that the worst team should have the best opportunity to improve.
My dad is texting. Keep in mind, I still won by quite a bit, even without Nick Chubb. Yes, you did.
Well, you still got 6 points from Nick. Let's not act like it's nothing.
Hey, Josh, talk to Dad and see if you can get him to use the chat on YouTube because that will make things a lot smoother, and we can maybe post his comments and such. Yeah.
Those are my thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, let's keep moving. I mean, obviously, like my main thoughts are in North Shore Nincompoops this is the second week and they are severely underachieving. Like what he's supposed to be getting, it's like 20 to 30 points less. So obviously, and the computer graded him high. He was one of the A's. Like it was A+, him, Sam, and Kara were all A's.
I will say this. So far, both weeks, Sam has been the favorite and has lost.
Yes.
In projections.
Yes.
And both weeks, Josh has been the underdog and has won.
Yep.
Because of Commissioner Magic.
Overachieving a little bit. My other note is I'm continuing to get punished. I have the highest points against for the continuing from last year. So, it's been. I just noticed your blackboard, Dave. Nice touch. Oh, thank you. Hopefully you can read it. There's some pretty bad glare. I'm going to try to fix that in the future. But yeah, a little inside joke there. It's and then the Bulldogs are punishing the league right now. The Bulldogs are.
Yeah, I will say this. If we look at record of everyone against everyone each week, and I think this is a really good measure of seeing just how strong a team really is versus lucky.
Yeah.
Right now, obviously the Bulldogs would be 14-0 if they had. But I think a bit of a sleeper here is the Appalachian Latins, who would be 11-3. And 2 of those losses would obviously be the Bulldogs. So they are very competitive right now, even though they're 1-1.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a little bit of a different feel from the last couple of years. It's just seeing some different people up top, which is okay in my book, but it's not too bad.
If you're curious, those are the only 2 teams that are above 500.
Oh, really?
Against else. Next would be You and the Destroyers tied at 7-7, and me at 6-8. The Jackals at 5-9. The Fergals at 4-10, and the Nincompoops would be 2-12.
Sam's not winning a lot of.
The seat's got to be getting hot.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Do we have a sponsor this
week? A little
week?
Sponsor break here. This week's not sponsor. I don't want to get this video shut down. Not sponsor, but sponsor. ESPN Fantasy Football. Are you unhappy with your current fantasy football services? Even though every service is ultimately the same minus a few minor details? Does your fantasy football app's clean and straightforward user interface frustrate you to no ends? Have you ever been on a walk with your dog and just gotten absolutely so frustrated that you can't see every insignificant stat about your failing fantasy football team that you end up taking it out on your dog? I know I've been there.
Guilty.
Well, lucky for you, we've teamed up with ESPN Fantasy Football. ESPN is leaps and bounds ahead of the competition. They have so many extra features on this app that you could spend all day and then some totally ignoring your other responsibilities in life. I know that when using fantasy football, it's extremely disadvantageous not knowing what the wide receiver coach of my players had for breakfast that morning, or how many bowel movements the players on the waiver wire have had. Thank you, ESPN, for making every aspect of the fantasy football experience slightly better than some of the competition. Where would we be without you? Again, this is satire. We are not sponsored by ESPN. Just throwing that out there.
I was just going to say, I'm actually a real big fan of the bowel tracker on the app.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, you can tell when a guy is backed up, he is not going to be performing at his highest level.
My brother is trying to get I honestly, I think it's extremely important to know bowel movements, because if a guy's going to be running to the bathroom betwing plays, that's points left on the board. So you need to know that. And I know Yahoo's we use Yahoo Fantasy Football, and they're just not to that level yet. I mean,
no.
ESPN just is pretty much the best fantasy football app, and unfortunately, we just aren't using it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I would love it if ESPN would give us back our stats.
Yes. So for those that don't understand that are watching this, Alex, and I'm talking to you right now, we were on ESPN. We were on ESPN for a while. We've been switching, and yes, ESPN may seem better than Yahoo at this point, but when we switched over to Yahoo, Yahoo was better than ESPN, or I think it was better than NFL.com.
NFL.
And NFL.com was better than ESPN when we switched over to NFL.com. So, I mean, it's all these apps have different features, but they're all doing the exact same thing. And yes, on the app, you can't see the breakdown of your score of your defense on live. But that's why you have a nice computer and you can just check the desktop. If you absolutely need to, or do what Chuck did and just check the browser on your phone instead of.
I'm on it right now. Right here, I've just been on the browser on my phone.
It's perfectly usable. So yeah, and we went into a giant conversation between Apple and Android. And
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, it was kind of a big thing. It was basically just Josh and Alex talking about how pretty much Apple is Yahoo and Android is ESPN. But I mean, that's a subjective conversation, because if you I have friends that will literally swear by Apple, and Apple has better security. Apple has better user interface. Yes, Android, you can tinker with more and you can kind of customize it the way you like it. But, it's a little, Apple's a little simpler for those who want a more simplified phone experience. But anyways, we're getting off track.
Let's get to next week.
It's been fun. Let's get next week's matchups.
I will say an interesting thing for next week is that If you're 1-1, you're
notes are
playing
off.
someone who's 2-0 or 0-2.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So there's no 1-1s against each other. There's no 2-0s against each other. There's no 0-2. Everybody is split up with a 1-1 in the game, which is interesting. So it's possible that we end up with 2 3-0s and 2 0-3s, and then 4 1-2s, or I guess 2 1-2s and 2 2-1s with that. But who would you like to start with?
Let's see where the pick'ems are at. Let's go with week 3. Let's go Alex and Kara. They're first on the list. So
Speaking of the pick'ems, Josh is lighting it up.
Yeah, he won all 4 of his matchups.
7-1 over the year, and I don't think anybody else has more than 3.
5. Jordan has 5. No, Todd has 5. My dad has 5. So
he's not only good at winning, he's good at picking.
Yep. So it's Todd and Josh at the top, and then all us lowly serfs.
I think I only have like 2, right? Or something.
You and I are 2 and 6. Kara has 2 and 7 somehow. I have no idea even how
that's got to be a 6. I saw that.
Yeah, it's probably a 6. Where am I? Why am I thinking? Yeah, 1 and 4. She's 1 and 3. Didn't help that I didn't. I went 0 and 4 this. I went 0 and 4.
Yeah, it was a tough.
I didn't pick a single right one. So,
and as we learned on the pro pick'em, it's better to just not pick at all than to pick.
Yeah, apparently. Hey, there we go. Todd is up.
I want to be good at.
I'm not sure picking is something I want to be good at. Ha ha ha! Very funny.
Well, that's why you have auto draft. All right, so the Destroyers versus the Fergals. We got 1-1 versus 0-2. A lot of these games, when I was looking at them last night, so they've changed a little bit, were very, very tight in the projections, and this one still is 112 to 107. It's pretty close. I think the Fergals have so far disappointed, but the team looks competitive here on paper.
Yes.
The Doges are without Barkley. So when I was just kind of going down the list, I just felt like I was going to give the edge to the Fergals getting off to a win finally.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I think Pat Mahomes is going to go off in Chicago, and I think 24 points is extremely conservative for the pick. And Kirk Cousins has had some good games so far, and I think he's due for a multiple pick game against the LA Chargers. They are home, so they could play a little better, and they're going to be hungry for a win, but I could still see them struggling because that team is not very good.
I mean, there's a little bit of a wild card here because he picked up Ford. He's hoping to get some Chubb level replacement with that. And if it works out for him and then Barkley comes back, he could end up with a real scary running back room. But there's a reason Ford was the backup, I'm sure. We'll see. Time will tell. He's got a tough time. He's got Tennessee, and then the next week he's got another really tough team, Baltimore, and then he has a bye. And then he's got San Francisco. So it's possible 3 to 4 weeks of toughness there. So if he can pop it out, he's certainly got a gem there. But I just look at Kara's team, and I feel like they're due to all line up together at some point.
Yeah.
And get her this way.
Todd says Chicago, no defensive coordinator. Oh, yeah, we forgot. Their defensive coordinator got raided by the FBI this week, so he's gone.
That'll happen.
And so, yeah,
I do believe they replaced it with a dog. It's just going to bark randomly at them and heard
bark plays. Yeah, I think that's the truth. No, I think, and then Stephon Diggs against Washington, he should eat him up. And Amon-Ra St. Brown's probably going to eat up Atlanta. Like, there's a lot going for Kara, and I don't trust. And I don't trust Alex's team. He's a textbook overthinker. Alex, if you're watching this, you know exactly what I mean. You're a textbook overthinker, and he's going to change things. I mean, before we started talking, Chuck and I did notice that Alex not only
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
At 8 o'clock in the morning, he got a defense. He dropped the Browns defense and picked up
Pittsburgh.
And
then an hour and a half later,
he drops Pittsburgh and picks up Kansas City. And I think that's a good move, Kansas City against Chicago.
I'm not sure why he picked Pittsburgh over Kansas City to begin with, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't see him.
So what is I'm not looking at it right now. Who all has picks in?
Just me. No one's got picks in except me. So if anybody wants to make their picks live, we can talk about it.
Mine is Kara on that.
Yours is going to be Kara. I also picked Kara.
All right. So he is currently the projected loser.
Yep. But I think I think Patrick Mahomes this is a 35-point game for him. This is a 35, 40-point game. Like he's going to get, 40% of his points.
And I hope that most of them come to Kelsey.
He's been underutilized, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm a little worried that Kelsey could be distracted now that he's dating Taylor Swift, but I'm thinking he is going to probably push through.
All right, next up is Bulldogs versus Polecats.
Now, last year, this was always a pretty meaty matchup.
I think it's going to. I mean, this is
two teams. We were quite the powerhouses. I don't think the Polecats are quite as much this year, but it should be a good game.
This is my ESPN Fantasy Football Game of the Week.
Oh, I like that.
So this is
honestly, when I looked at it too, I was like, I think this has some good potential. I don't know what Todd just changed recently, or if some stats just got changed.
Yes, that's true.
Even earlier today, when I looked at it, the projection was 110 me and 111 him. So somehow now it got bumped up to 115 for him. I'm not sure if he changed someone or if they just changed the stats around. I don't think his team changed.
He may have taken Chubb out. Maybe when you looked, did he have Chubb?
No, Chubb was already out because he had Gibbs put in.
Okay.
Oh, I think he added Williams. No, maybe it's good. Maybe he put in Williams over Davis in the flex.
I'm actually kind of surprised that his quarterbacks are weak, but I'm kind of surprised. I don't know if I'd go with Joe Burrow. I'd probably go Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is against Houston. Houston is not good.
And Burrow has not been great, but let's keep him in the lineup. Think of the song. Yes. I read an article about that today about how why would anybody date Taylor Swift?
You are just a muse for her future.
You are fodder.
Musical endeavors.
So here's what I wrote here. I wrote right now it was very even. There's no Chubb, but honestly, I think Gibbs could do well. I don't see Davis getting points, but now he's benched him. Dallas at Arizona could be a pretty monster game for that defense. Arizona's been overachieving, but they're due probably to fall back to earth. I said the Polecats might need Burrow and Chase to have another struggling game, but I decided to pick the Polecats. I have some faith, and I need the points.
I picked against you, buddy. I'm sorry. I picked Todd. I picked Dad. I just.
Now I guess that was before I saw Williams in there. Seeing Williams in there now, I'm not 100% sure. I do need to make some changes possible. I'm not sure about keeping Kelly in, but we'll see.
I mean, Nakua might pop off this week again.
Honestly, I'm a little surprised that they're only giving him a projection of 11.
I think Hurts is going to be having some tough sledding against Tampa Bay's defense. They've been pretty strong against the run, but we'll see. Although, honestly, we will see what happens. I have faith in the Polecats this weekend. If they pull off the win and give the Bulldogs their first loss, I think. Yeah.
Change the complexion of the season for a little bit.
And feel free to jump in on Pick'ems Live if you guys want to. That way we can see you guys. It is pinned in the Discord if you want to shoot your picks out right away, unless you want to wait, but you have until about tomorrow at 7. Next up is, I think, me and Sam.
You and Sam.
And I actually will tell you right now, I picked Sam.
Why is your projection so low?
Because my team has not played well. I'm going to tell you that right now. My team has not played well. I didn't want to pick Olave because I think Jair is going to be covering him pretty hardcore, and I don't think he's going to get a ton of points against the Green Bay Packers, especially at home in Green Bay. I can't put Eckler in. He didn't practice today, so like there's no way he's going to start.
Well, he's got till Sunday.
Freiermuth is like, okay, he got 1 point last week. Dalton Kincaid hasn't really struck chemistry, but he got 7 points. Yeah, I switched in Tyler Lockett for Olave, and then So, and I don't think Jordan Love is really going to do much because they got a pretty strong front seven, and Lamar Jackson should eat up Indianapolis.
It should be noted that Swift is in the lineup.
Oh, he is now?
Swift has been moved to the lineup.
For the North Shore Nincompoops.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Either he was listening to what we were saying or he did that afterwards and we just kind of swapped it out.
I wrote, it's not very close. We'll see. I said Sam has lost both of his games as the favorite, and he is the favorite. So
my dad says 23 will play better. When he says 23, he's talking about Jair Alexander, cornerback for the Green Bay Packers. Will play better.
I'm not confident in this, but I haven't been doing well on my picks while being confident. So I'm going to go with Dave.
Ooh.
I think Sam 3 losses in a row.
I think so. You think he'll underachieve yet again? Or I'll super overachieve. I am the ultimate underdog here. I really hope I can play better than my team says I'm going to play, but
it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know that it'll depend probably on Garrett Wilson and Lockett.
Yeah.
If they have some big games, then I think you'll be able to be okay.
Yeah.
All right, that leaves us with Battle of the Brothers.
Battle of the Brothers.
2-0 Tharsis Jackals versus the 1-1 Appalachian White Lightnings. Now, reminder, the Jackals are currently the underdog, which they have won both of their games as an underdog. But the Appalachian White Lightning are actually pretty much the second best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
Don't let their record fool you. They're only 30 points under the Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm. I picked Jordan. He, I think, is going to win. He's got Aaron Jones in. I don't know if Aaron Jones, he didn't practice today. I would not be surprised if he doesn't play, but he can always put in. He's got Joe Mixon he could always slide Joe Mixon up there, and he's got Debo, Pickens. I mean, he could throw Cam Akers out there, although he really didn't do anything last week.
Akers doesn't seem like he plays anymore.
No. And
I wrote
Mike
here,
Williams is decent.
It's another close one. I think the projections are, they're not as close as they were yesterday. When I was putting these together, like 3 of the games were by like 1 point projections.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust the White Lightning more. But can you discount the magic that is playing the Supreme Chancellor?
I mean, he does have otherworldly powers to somehow affect team scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I will not be shocked if the White Lightning struggle to put up even 100, but I am picking them because they should win.
You're picking the White Lightning. I think that's the pick too. Ooh, Todd's getting his picks in. Love it. So Todd picked Kara against Alex. I think everybody's rooting for Kara to get her first win.
Honestly, the way Alex is, I think everyone's rooting for him to lose.
He picked himself. Obviously, he picked me to win against Sam, and it looks like, is he going to pick Josh? He's hovering over Josh right now. We'll see. I'm waiting for
it's too bad we can't put it up on the video so we can watch him live put in his.
Oh, I know, right? Actually, I might be able to here. Let me check. Presentation, show you presentation to viewers. No. I might be able to share screen.
This is true. Josh has decided that the more we pick against him, the more he will win. I definitely foresee the Jackals hitting some hard times this year.
Here we go. It's the pick'ems.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, it looks like my dad went with Josh. Interesting.
He feels the power. Maybe he's trying to lower his power.
He knows the power of
the middle child.
Yeah.
Power of the middle child.
Yeah. Ooh, we got 5 people watching, guys. I mean, this is like record. I'm loving this.
It's a good thing we made sure we did not have a sponsor this week.
It looks like Petrulitar, maybe. He looks like he logged in. But we're almost over. It's a shame. Alex, you should rewind and listen to the sponsor.
This is a bad episode for Alex to miss. Oh well.
I know. It's gonna be good.
What's this we got here? Future fantasy pick.
Okay, so I was doing when we were dealing with the scoring issues earlier this week with the defense. I started looking up different ways that different fantasy leagues score, and what I saw, Josh Bryan.
Whoa, the commissioner is bribing for picks.
This is evidence right here, right now.
Breaking news.
There is some bribery happening. Anyway, when I was looking for different rules, I saw a different scoring rule where they talked about head coaches as a scoring option. So you could pick a head coach.
How are they scored?
By points. Basically, what was it? It was point differentials. Basically, if you cover the spread,
you get points for a correct challenge.
That would be awesome. That should be in. I didn't. Yeah, you pick head coaches, and I was like, man, that would be so cool.
Honestly, though, it would be like tight ends. There's going to be a couple coaches that you can rely on getting you a lot of points, and then everyone else is just going to be a deep pile.
But it would just be a super interesting. So it isn't a custom option. You get points for team wins. His favorite team is so he learned from the best.
Are you seeing the kicker points?
Yeah. So
clock management, you lose points.
You get points for every point scored. You win. You get bonus points for a 25+ point win margin. It's kind of like a defense where you're going to get points per that. I assume there's other options. Yeah, that would be awesome. Like a successful challenges would be awesome.
Interesting.
I don't know. It was just an option I saw, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be a really interesting addition.
You know what would be interesting is almost just trying it next year. Like we all are able to pick one, but they're not officially in the team, and we just kind of track like as a side. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of an interesting, because I mean they do technically, like we talk about games lost from coaching, like we talked about the Packers losing because they got out coached. So I mean there is a factor, a coaching factor. I mean everybody's probably going to want to pick like the Belichick's, the Andy Reid's,
I don't think anybody wants Belichick right now.
The better teams.
You're just gonna pick whatever team is primed. You're gonna take Kyle Shanahan. Whoever gets him wins.
But I mean, like that's where like coaches' challenges would come in. So like kind of like how like in a defense, it's not always the greatest team in the world, but if your defense can pull a lot of picks and stuff, that can really like up your game. So yeah, you definitely would want to have some sort of scoring option, so it wouldn't be just you're basically doing a league pick-up, a pro pick-ums, because you're just like, well, I'm going to pick the coach who I think is going to win this week, and by the biggest margin.
Yeah, that's interesting though. It's an interesting thought.
Just an idea.
It's very interesting.
So yeah, we talked about pick-ums. Wow, we're getting done a little early this week. That's okay. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't. I think I'm looking forward as things keep going. I did add a new thing that I'd like to I added a couple things to the league records, first of all. So I'm now keeping track of underdog and favored wins, but I also in the full-time records, I'm hoping to start compiling, because I started thinking, I'm like, oh man, Todd's off to a great start. I wonder who's had the best first 2 weeks. And so I made a section now. So it's like which team in the records has had the most points after just 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and on down there. So that'll take some time to compile, but I think it'd be kind of interesting to see if it's just like one team that dominates all the way through, like Sam's 2020 or something like that, or if it kind of gets spread out or somewhere like that. It could end up being interesting. It could end up being kind of a dud, but I think especially early on, it'd be neat to kind of have something to compare it to. Right now, let me see here some of the records we've got in. The largest margin of victory, I'm keeping track of the top 3 margins of victory and smallest victories right now as well, so we can kind of keep track of that. So obviously I win over the nincompoops of 33.87 is currently the most, the biggest margin of victory, but then the Bulldogs have the next 2 with 20 and 12. And the smallest margin of victory right now is the Jackals over the Polecats in week 1 with only 1.17. And then also in week 1, you over the Fergals of only 3.45. So it'll be interesting kind of see how those numbers change throughout the year as well, I think. So I should really pop that up against the on the Discord so people can access it if they want. I'm sure everybody's checking the record book regularly.
Yeah. One last stat I wanted to bring up that I forgot about. Not only does Todd's team have the most points for, he is second to last in points against, as in, so I mean, he's not only just like getting lucky like
that
Josh,
tracks though. That's
where he's legitimately like teams are coming to play against him. He just like is raising up to their level and more. So I mean, like that's why it's
actually I think it's
such a dangerous team right now.
I think it's really interesting because I think you wrote somewhere how you were getting hit by being the most points against. But okay, you're 231
by one point. By 1
they're
point.
230, and then the next one is 229, and the next one is 226. The top 4 are really only 5 points apart.
Yeah.
In that, and so it's just really, it's really close for the points against. Right now, I'm actually winning the least points against battle.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be interesting if I can hold off Josh.
Defense, baby. Defense wins championships. That's pretty much what it is.
All right.
Yeah, this is good. You got a 4th and goal at all?
You know, I have looked up a lot of things. I guess the only kind of last thing I'd end with is hearing a little bit about Kareem Hunt getting brought back in to kind of replace Bob. There's a reason they cut him. Anyway,
I was like, I was very surprised at that signing where I'm just like, does he play football anymore? Like even the past years when he's come in, it's so minimal and he's not doing a whole lot. Like, are they that sore at running back that they just like,
obviously they don't have that much faith in Ford.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's young.
They just needed another guy in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
we will see. I think this week will tell us a little more. And gosh, I hope we can get through without a star player having their body broke.
At this point, you're looking at, you got to be like putting a force field around people like Justin Jefferson and like who's the next. There hasn't been a wide receiver yet that has taken a severe injury.
Here's a good fourth and goal here. My wife actually sent me this, and she is not a big football fan. Wow. The last 3 Monday night games, DeMar Hamlin, Aaron Rodgers, Nick Chubb.
That's crazy. That is pretty crazy.
So, and Jalen Hurts is playing Monday.
Oh my gosh. It's probably going to be A.J. Brown, though, because we need a wide receiver to get hurt really badly. Yeah. So A.J. Brown's kind of he just doesn't get hurt.
So it'll be, hopefully we break the curse, the Monday night curse here.
It's becoming the Madden curse.
Yes.
Monday night curse. So who's playing Monday night this week?
It is the Eagles and the Giants. No.
Ugh.
No.
Gross if it is. Giants.
Sorry, that's Thursday. Sorry. Eagles and Tampa Bay.
We got to watch
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, actually, and it's been kind of fun to watch him. Like I'm always
not that bad of a quarterback. I thought he did well in the team he got with the Browns was poop, and he did pretty well with them. And then for some reason, they just ran after, I don't remember who, and like, whatever, we don't need you anymore. Was it Watson? I don't remember.
Yeah, they went for Deshaun. They dropped him and tried to pick up Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I don't think they upgraded.
No.
With Watson. And then obviously it didn't go well for him in Carolina, and he was just a temporary guy in the Rams to begin with. But I would like to see Mayfield do all right. I think he was a little brash when he first came in, but I liked his commercials.
No, I think he's always been kind of a gunslinger. He's fun to watch. It's just you always like to see him because it's kind of like watching who is the guy with the long beard? Fitzgerald.
Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic. I mean, he was going to throw a lot of picks and he was going to do, but like they were just going to pull off something really crazy. And it's just,
he had a chance to like put up 4 interceptions and he had a chance to put up 40 points.
Yeah. It's fun. It's those Brett Favre gunslingers.
You don't have a lot of gunslingers anymore.
You got Josh Allen's like the current, like he's the gunslinger currently. Like he's got the most interceptions he's got the most turnovers total through the last year and a half or whatever, the first 3 years. It's been crazy. Like how many turnovers?
I'd like them to just unload and let Zach Wilson be a gunslinger.
That'd be fun.
Just let him go. What do you got to lose?
I mean, nothing now. Seriously, it'd be really nice if the Jets just get the first round pick and we get basically we just get the 32nd pick of the draft.
Here's the thing. The Jets get first or second pick, but Rodgers is furiously making a comeback. Are they taking a top quarterback?
I mean,
for 1 year of Rodgers? Because they're going to.
If I'm the Jets and you have say the Jets, you have the first or second round, the first and second pick in the draft, you are definitely taking a quarterback. I don't care who. And I know, and it's going to cause Aaron Rodgers to quit.
And then he demands a trade to the Vikings because they're done with Cousins.
Yep, and then they will almost make the Super Bowl.
And the cycle will be complete.
Yeah.
It could happen. What crazy things.
That would be insane. That would be so insane. You have no idea how crazy that would be. I actually just saw some news article about how Kirk Cousins is a trade candidate for the Jets right now.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but
no, because I don't think they hate Kirk Cousins as much as Kirk Cousins' stats are fine. He's just not a team leader. He cannot lead that team to victory.
There's really not anybody that they can just have come in and cause success at this point, unfortunately. So that's what I've got for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much gave my myriad of different NFL talking that I don't have any cool stat or anything like that, but I'm excited. It's going to be a good week.
I'm really hoping that I actually get to watch the game this week. I was very frustrated last week.
So what's the big problem? You just aren't getting service. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So I tried getting the digital antenna a couple times, and then I looked on the government website that has a map that tells you what channels you should be able to get where you are. And in basketball, there is no channels. If I go just down the road to Fenimore, it's 20 channels. Go to basketball, nothing. So digital antenna is just not going to work. I don't want to pay $60 for YouTube TV just to watch one show a week.
Yeah.
And so I have NFL Plus, which you apparently can watch live on your phone, but I wasn't able to get that happening. So I listened to the first game on the radio. And then I was like, okay, I'll watch this one in replay. So I did it last year a couple times. It was fine. So I don't go on any social media. I don't see anything. It gets to be 3:30, 4 o'clock. I know it's good. I go on there, I pull it up, and there's the screen coming up for the game. And then right here in big letters, Packers 24, Falcons 25, final. Why would you put that there? I'm not watching this replay because I loved it so much. I'm watching this replay because I haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, Red Zone isn't really a replay though, Josh, because Red Zone just shows you scoring plays.
Yeah. So it was really frustrating that I put it all off for that time, and then they just told me the scores. Why would you put that score there? Why would you do that? It turned out all right though, because I did mute the Discord, but apparently I only muted the main chat. And then immediately after I found out that what the score was on accident, Alex posted in stats, oh, everyone in the NFC North lost this week. Which we would have gotten.
Oh, that's so funny.
So apparently you need to mute all of it somehow.
So my dad, the resident mathematician, posted if the Jets average 4 offensive snaps for the first 16 games and Rodgers plays all of Week 17, the Packers will get a first-round pick. That would be impossible, but hilarious. They have to average 4 offensive snaps.
All right. Well, I think I can hear the child screaming, so I should probably.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys. Thanks for everyone who stuck around. We got 5 people viewing, which is just cool. I don't know who all is. I know Dad and Josh are in, and
obviously it's the ESPN rep.
It's ESPN people probably watching to see what else we're trashing on their screen. I'm going to get an email saying like a cease and desist. But anyway, yeah, guys, have a good one.
Have a good week.
Yeah, see you later.